Well, good evening. Wonky Astronomer here. Well, this is a video to introduce new users to Occult Watcher. I've just been speaking to someone who's interested in getting started in occultations, and I recommended downloading Occult Watcher and getting familiar with that first. Have a look at some of the predictions and see if there's any predicted occultations that they might be interested in observing. So this is Occult Watcher here. But what I'm going to do, I've got this running already, of course, on my computer, but I'm going to go to another computer. This is a PC where I don't have Occult Watcher installed, and I'm going to try to install it. Now bear in mind, I haven't done this for a long time. I installed Occult Watcher years ago, and so I've probably forgotten a lot of how to do it. But I'll try to edit out the boring parts where I don't know what I'm doing, and hopefully this will be a useful video. So I've gone to this website, occultwatcher.net. You can see the URL there. This is the homepage for Occult Watcher. Now along the top there you've got several tabs. I should point out that some of the information on this page is a bit out of date, so don't rely on it too heavily. But what I'll do is go to the download tab over there. There's a thing there called Online User Guide. I believe that is a broken link. See, doesn't work. That's not very helpful. But okay, it says create a folder where you want to install Occult Watcher, and do not put it under C program files. So what I'm going to do is go over to Explorer. I'm on the C drive, and I'll make a new folder called Occult Watcher without a space. I don't like spaces because I'm a Unix guy. Unix people don't like putting spaces in file names, but I don't think it matters what that name is. Okay, so now I will download this zip file. So I think I'll download it to the one I just created, the Occult Watcher folder. Download, that is done. So I'll look in there. There it is. That's a zip file. So I will extract all. Okay, it extracts into OW update. Extract. Okay, so now I've got C drive, Occult Watcher, and OW update is the executable, I think. Right click on, I'm now looking at the instructions on the web page. Right click on owupdate.exe and choose run as administrator. Run as administrator. The only option is don't run. This is Windows 11, by the way. Okay, run anyway. Yes. Okay, that appears to be installing. Please restart is manually. There's a typo there in that message. Okay. So we've now got in the in the Occult Watcher folder, or is it the OW update folder? Right, it's OW update. We've got I think that's an executable there called Occult Watcher. So I'll double click that. Actually, what I should do is create a shortcut to it. I wonder if that appears in the start menu. It does. It appears in recently added. So I'll just click that. And it says, let me get rid of this. It says I think I've started it twice. That's the problem. Okay, it says please enter the geographical coordinates of your site. Okay. Yes, I think I started it twice by mistake. Just close that. All right, I might minimize that web browser now. And that. So it's asking for my location. Now what I'm going to do is put in the location of the observer that I spoke to earlier, who is at Turramurra. Now I don't know his exact location, but I'll put in the coordinates of Turramurra Station, which I looked up before I began. So the longitude is, you need it, I think you need it in degrees, minutes and seconds. So 151, 7 minutes, 7 minutes, 151 degrees, 7 minutes, 42 seconds east, and latitude is 33 degrees, 43 minutes, 56 seconds. I'm not using decimals here, but I think if you have it any more accurate than that, it's a good idea to put in a decimal point. And that is south latitude. Sites. Can I save this site? See, this is where I'm not too sure what to do. Okay, click sites, add new. I'll give that a name. See, it's asking me again for the coordinates. I'll put Turramurra. I probably should have done this instead of putting those results in, or those coordinates in. So I'll do that again. 151, 742 east, and 33, 43, 56 south. South, correct. Altitude. Now I don't know the altitude. It is important to get the altitude in. I'll just put 200 meters. Save. Right. Close that. I'm a little confused. Okay, there's Turramurra. See, in the sites, as you click the site button, you get a list of your sites. You can add more than one. Now, I want my distances in kilometers, show times in local time, show azimuth in, I prefer degrees, I think. I'll use the contrasty color scheme because this is a demo. And events listing, I prefer chronological, and I prefer show my events. What that means is when you announce that you're going to observe a particular event or a number of events, those events show in a separate section rather than being mixed in with all the events. Now choose columns. There's lots of columns that can be displayed. Let's see, asteroid name, event date, that's useful. Magnitude, that's the combined magnitude. I'm not crazy about that. Rank, let's not worry about rank at the moment. Rank is related to the probability or how accurate the prediction is. Travel distance might be useful. Last updated, I don't think we need that as a field. Feed, let's put feed. Event time in universal time, star magnitude, asteroid magnitude, submitted stations, that tells you how many other people have decided to observe it. My submitted stations, let's skip that at the moment. Now things like max duration, mag drop, they are displayed at the bottom of the screen anyway when you select an event, so let's not worry about those. Same with altitude, star altitude. Moon altitude, I think, is also displayed. Or maybe not. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Duplicate, shift, I'm not sure what they are. Probability, that's a very important one. Probability. Magnitude drop, again, that's displayed at the bottom. Remaining time is very important. And the name of the star, let's not worry about that. Okay. Now, so that was in general configuration. Event filters. This will filter out events that you're not interested in. There will be a lot of events, so you don't want to display them all. Okay, so let's say, okay, so it says don't show events for which my site is more than this many kilometers outside the 1 sigma zone. Let's just say 50. No, let's say 20. You can think about this later. A star is fainter than magnitude 21. Well, nobody's seen a magnitude 21. Let's say 14. Depends on your equipment, how dim a star you can see easily with your telescope and camera. But obviously if they're too dim, you don't want to see them. So we put a magnitude limit there. If the star is lower than, I usually use 10 degrees. Things below 10 degrees above the horizon are a bit hard to observe. If the shadow, asteroid shadow is smaller than how many kilometers? Let's say 2 kilometers. Now the rank, I mentioned the rank earlier. It's a measurement of how much confidence there is in the prediction. So higher rank, they go from up to 100. It's like a percentage. We don't really care about the rank. Obviously, you don't want to see events that happen in daylight. And keep showing old events from the past, let's say 10 days. Okay. Oh, I could have done some more config there. We can still go into it. Okay, it shows you the release notes. Let's not worry about that. Now, one of the quirks of Occult Watcher is that when you start it up, it often doesn't, like the window doesn't appear. And you sometimes have to go to this little, I don't know what you call this thing, but it shows background processes. And you will see the little Occult Watcher icon there. Sometimes you have to double click that to get it to come up. In this case, it appears to be there. Okay. So there's the main window. There's nothing in it at the moment. I think I should have done some more configuration. To get to the configuration normally, see, when I installed it, it just went straight to the configuration screen, but you can get to it normally via this menu item here. So I did the general config where I put in the site, and then I did the event filters. I did the default event filters. You can actually have different filters for different feeds, but we'll come to feeds in a moment. Other options, I think these are fairly self-explanatory. All right, now very important one, prediction feeds. Now for observers on the east coast of Australia, I'm going to recommend that just to get started, you select, there's a whole bunch of feeds here. These are sources of predictions. I'm going to recommend that you select, at the very least, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Trans-Tasman events. So that is a feed that covers all of Eastern Australia and New Zealand. Now, there are a bunch of other feeds in there. I think maybe the default ones that are already selected, you can leave them selected. All right. Let's say okay. Wait a minute. Let me go back. Observation planner. Your account. You should create an account. So, of course, I already have an account. So I don't remember how to do this. So you've got two options there. Use my existing account or create a new account. Maybe I have to click this button. Start contributing to the community. Okay, so here's the account creation box. You put in your email address, choose a password, and click create account. All right, but I won't do that. I'll use my existing account. So I'll log in here. All right, so I'm now logged in and it has synchronized the feed. Now, you've got these columns up here. These are the columns I chose in the configuration earlier. I'll just make those a little wider so we can see the names. But once you know what they are, you can make them narrow, so you don't have to. They don't have to take all the space. Now you'll notice each line represents an occultation event, and because I chose the Trans-Tasman feed, all perhaps of these are from the Trans-Tasman feed. And this is really what you want if you're in Eastern Australia or New Zealand. So what I do normally is I look at this column here, remaining time. Now I should mention you can reorder these columns. Wait a minute, can you drag them? You can just drag them. Right, to reorder them. Now in this case, all of these events are in the future because the first event there, and these are in chronological order, the first event there happens in 3 hours from now. I'm doing this at, what time is it? About 5 in the afternoon. So what I normally do is, after this has been installed for a while, some of those events will move into the past, and then that remaining time column will go to 0. Now actually maybe I can actually show you that in my existing installation. This is the one running on my local computer, and you can see there in the remaining time column that it's mainly blank, right? So I scroll down until I find something in that remaining time column. So these are the events that are in the future. The ones above that are in the past, so there's no point looking at them. And what I normally do, also these columns are probably in a different order from the default column order in that one I just installed. What I normally do is I look for what's coming up in the future, and I look at, it's already been filtered of course based on my filters, but I look at the star magnitude and the asteroid magnitude. So 11.2 is reasonably bright, 19.2 is very dim for the asteroid. That's good. So I'm looking for bright stars and dim asteroids. And also this probability column to make a decision whether I want to observe an event. So I'll go back to the one I just installed. Now suppose, again, these are in different positions. So there is a very bright one actually, magnitude 5.5. That's very unusual. So suppose I wanted to observe that. It's happening at 8:35 local time. I'm 15 kilometers from the center line, I think, or from the 1 sigma. I'm not sure. usually don't use this because I don't travel. The probability is 7.8%. And if I look down here, while I've got this one selected, the details of it are down here. So it's this asteroid 62473 2000 SZ217, bit of a cryptic name. Occults, this star HIP 76126. And down here it gives you, there are currently no announced stations for this event. It gives you the event time. The error time, that's the uncertainty in time. It's the 1 sigma. So that means, in this case, it's 2 seconds. That means you would want to observe for at least several times that that amount of time before and after the predicted time. I usually record for 2 minutes, which is usually plenty. Tells you the maximum duration there, 0.4 seconds. The combined magnitude, that means when the asteroid and the star are so close together that they appear as one object. And in this case, it's about the same magnitude as the star because the asteroid's very dim. But if the asteroid's brighter, that combined magnitude will be brighter than the star. Then you've got the star magnitude, how much the magnitude will drop when it's occulted, what constellation it's in, the star altitude and azimuth. That's very useful for knowing whether you'll be able to see it from your observing location, whether it's behind a tree or something like that. And the sun altitude, minus 45. That's useful if you're in twilight and you want to know. Like if the sun's only at minus 10 degrees, it might be a problem. It also tells you the moon distance. In this case, the moon's below the horizon. Let me just select another one. The moon is going to be... It's below the horizon for all these. Oh, there's one. Okay, there, the moon altitude is 41 degrees at 343 azimuth. And it also tells you the distance in degrees between the moon and the target star. Because when the moon's very close to the target, it can be difficult to observe. So, suppose I wanted to observe that event, this one with the 5.5 magnitude star. What I would do is right-click on it, and I can choose this bottom option, Add to my events, and then observe from, and it'll give you, I think, if you've got more than one site in there, it'll give you a choice of sites. But in this case, I've only got one site, Turramurra. So you say observe from Turramurra. There's another observe from Turramurra. I don't know what the difference is between those. And then, okay, you've got some options here. There's a box there where you can put site name. I think that's the name that other people will see when they see that you're observing it. I'll put anonymous observer. Method. This is the method you're going to use to observe it. Visual, video, drift scan, photoelectric, other. So mostly we use video, but whatever method using. And then what's your timing method? I'll just put other, because I'm not really going to observe this. Show site to others. Now, it can be useful for other people to know where you are so that they know, particularly if they're mobile observers, they know not to set up on the same cord as you. So for that, it's best to show your exact location to people, but some people don't want to show their exact location for privacy reasons. So you can show your exact location or your exact cord, that is where your site is across the path, but not the actual location. Or you can show an inexact cord, which will be offset by some random amount up to 1 kilometer. I usually choose exact location. And then this count on me indicator, this is for people who are, or it's to tell other observers whether you are a new observer, like an inexperienced observer, or you're experienced. So it gives them some idea of how likely it is that you'll make a successful observation. So how much can you count on me? I set mine to medium normally. Now, if you're a new observer, you might want to select low or inexperienced, just to let people know that they can't count on you. So they might set up on your cord anyway if you're inexperienced, if it's important to get a cord in that location. I'll put medium at the moment and click OK. Now, once you've done that, when you announce for another event, you don't have to go through all that stuff because it remembers it. Now, what it's done there is it's put that event, because I've announced for it, it's put it in the My Events section. So this section at the top is the events that I've announced, and then all other events are below that. So if I announce another one, say I announce this one, actually I might try to find one where someone else has announced. Okay, that one there, Electra, which is tomorrow, Saturday, at almost 10 p.m. Someone else has announced for that. And I can, now this green bar here represents the path width. And there's a little mark on there, and that represents another observer. If I mouse over that, it'll tell me who that is. It's Unwin M. Home, Martin Unwin. So he's planning to observe it. I think he's in New Zealand. And my location is way over here. This big mark represents my location. So I'm way out of the path. But what I'll do is I will announce that. So I'll add to my events, observe from Taramura, and then all that stuff is already filled in because I filled it in once, so I don't have to do it again. So I'll just hit OK, and it puts that event also in the My Events section. Now, you don't have to have a My Events section. In the configuration, wait a minute, how does this work? Yes, this box here, Show My Events. If you uncheck that, then the My Events section disappears, and those events I've announced for are now just mixed in with the others. I don't like that. I like to see my events all grouped together. So there it is. So we've got one there. Now again, that first one I announced with the bright star has got the path width there. It's a narrow path width. There's me. I can mouse over that. It says a non-observer, Peter Nosworthy. And this red part is the 1 sigma zone on each side. And then you've got little red lines out here, which represent the 2 sigma and 3 sigma limits. As I said, what I do is I look for future events and check the probability and whether the star's bright enough. And if there are any like that, I announce them. And depending on how restrictive your filters are, remember you're in the configuration, you've got your event filters here. This determines how many events you will see in your feed, but generally there'll be a lot more in your feed than you actually want to observe. Now there's one other thing I'd like to show. There's a couple of things. Select an event. There are some links down the bottom here. Now, one of them is View Station Sorts. I'm choosing that one because there are 2 submitted stations. I'm one of them, right? If I click that, it shows me a representation of the cross path lines and observers. So it shows me the center line is there, then 125 kilometers either side of it are these blue left and right limits, and then the 1 sigma, 2 sigma, and 3 sigma, and tells you how many kilometers they are from the center. Now, oh wait a minute, no, from the limits, from the left and right limit, and the limits are from the center. Okay, now, and then interleaved in amongst those are the observers. So there's me, and it tells you how far I am from, I guess, from the limit. I'm not sure whether that's from the limit or the center line. And then there's another observer there who is between the center line and the left limit. And it'll also tell you the probabilities for each observer. Now, for some reason, it doesn't show my probability. Not sure why. Usually does. But it'll show you the probabilities for other observers. You can get your own probability in the main screen. So that's a good quick way to show all the other observers in one screen. Now, another good useful link is this one, view details on the web. Now, if I click that, it'll bring up a browser window, and this site is called Occult Watcher Cloud. This is the web version of Occult Watcher. Now, it doesn't have all the features of the app, so you can't, I don't think you can announce or set your location. So it doesn't show you things like the probability at your specific location, but it does show you a lot of detail about the actual event. Down here it does show you the observers, so there's 2 observers there, and these lines here are different predictions. So there's one from Horizons Gaia EDR3, that's a star catalog source, and in Minor Planet Center Gaia EDR3. So anyway, you click on one of those, it'll show you on the right here all the details about the prediction, who uploaded it, about the event itself, the time it's happening, the magnitude drop, shadow width, blah blah blah, all the information about the target star, all the information about the asteroid, and here you get a zoomable map with the path marked on it, and these little telescope icons show you where the observers are. So in this case, that other observer is in New Zealand, and I am over there. Now, okay, I'm not logged in. You can log into this site with the same account you created for Occult Watcher, but you don't have to be logged in to view this page. So when I observe an event, I always keep a bookmark to this page that has all the details about the event. I can refer to it later. All right, I think that just about covers everything you need to know to get started. So good luck, and I'll see you in the app.